Hey guys, I'm Devon.
And I'm Max.
And we're Baka Burrito. And on today's episode, we got 5 anime that we were absolutely wrong about. We thought these were going to be the bottom tier, gutter, garbage, doo-doo quality shows, and we were just pleasantly surprised. Max, if you will, let's tell these fine people how we thought of this topic.
Well, it all started when we were hanging out at one of our homies' cribs, and
I hated that.
We're keeping that.
You have to be hip, Max. It's okay.
I have to be hip. Like, come on, I have to be the cool one. Who else is gonna be?
But
anyway, we were at his place, and we were trying to figure out watching Crunchyroll, trying to figure out what to watch, like whatever anime. And then we see this recommendation come up called D4DJ. And we're all like, oh, isn't this just like one of those idol animes or whatever? Like, why would we watch it? And then Devon's like, no, but I've heard some good things about it. And then we're like, but it can't be good, right? Like, there's no way it can be good. And we turn on the first episode, and the first song that came up was straight heat. And then we started watching the entire series right there. And I've got a couple good songs in my playlist as a result now from that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, right? So I had heard good things, but I had seen it even longer. I was like, there's no way this anime is good. It's a CG anime, 100% CG. The character models are just like basic girls, It's a music anime, so the music is going to be kind of flat, and I'm not going to like it. And then Piki showed up, and I was like, no. I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong, and that is okay. So before we get too far into it, you guys don't know what we're talking about. So D4DJ is the story. I don't have any of the names because it's not that kind of anime. It's like a slice of life music.
Well, it's the group Happy Around.
Yeah.
I played the mobile game a lot now as a result. So.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think one of the games is what came first, and then we had an anime.
D4DJ came first, but they came out around the same time. D4DJ was to hype up the anime, and it's because originally there were a bunch of DJ/idol groups in Japan, and yeah, because I played the game, I learned about all of this unwillingly because I needed to get the extra gems, so I had to listen to the whole explanation.
You can just skip it and get the gems.
Yeah, I figured that out after I learned the whole history, so if I have to know it, you have to know it.
Here we go.
Everybody listening gotta know it now. But apparently there was a bunch of hybrid idol/DJ groups out there, and they'll increase the popularity to decide to make an anime/mobile beat game, and they both simultaneously released at the same time. And that actually increased the popularity of these idol groups in Japan as well. They've actually have a few DJ battles. I've watched them on YouTube. They're very similar to the actual anime groups, which is amazing. The music is phenomenal. And that was kind of how they both were created. At the same time, it's more of a marketing gimmick, but it turned into a really solid anime and game.
Yeah, and now I'm not saying you should go into this expecting the next Death Note or anything like that, or what's the best slice of life you've ever watched? I watch a lot of really good ones. Probably
Orihime is great slice of life.
Okay, so I wouldn't expect anything like that. It doesn't do anything super crazy for the music genre or for the slice of life genre, but the anime itself is very solid. All of the characters are oh yeah, I could see her motivation. Oh, I could see her motivation. And it's just oh, they want to have fun. They want to start a DJ group, and they want to have a good time and win. And it's okay, super simple premise. You could turn your brain off, enjoy some good music, and keep it pushing. There's really not too much to say about it. If you like the show, you might like the game. And if you don't like the game, you might not like the show. But overall, it's not bad.
And the most important thing is the CG anime itself is fluid and it works. And especially when you have to go to the concert scenes in the episodes, the CG benefits it so much because the dance moves are a lot smoother and the camera work can be used in unique ways that actually make it really solid. And my favorite though is definitely in the final, spoiler alert, but in the episode 11 when Piki comes on after Happy Around. First of all, when that beat dropped, I'm yeah, no, Happy Around lost. They straight up, that's an L. But like what I was more interested in was the camera work they used there. And I think you know what I'm talking about, just like how they move the camera around, like each of the characters, and it was so fluid,
Well,
which I
that's
feel
one of
like
the
is harder to get with drawing.
yeah, I was about to say that is one of the benefits of CG anime over 2D. But that's a topic for it. We've done that topic. We could plug that
Yeah.
somewhere.
It'll be anywhere here. I don't know. Put it on my face for all I care.
Fine. All right. So but yeah, so I think that's all we really have to say about D4DJ other than Max is absolutely addicted. After the last event, he challenged me to a DJ battle, and I look, and I see that his profile says top 20,000. I don't know how many players it has, but the fact that he has an icon.
I'm top 5,000 now, Devon.
Shut up. But yeah, the fact that he has an icon that says he's that high, I was like, I'm good. I don't have to DJ battle. I don't play like that. I play every so often. It's cool. But yeah,
want the smoke.
You're right. You're right.
But yeah, I'll tag down below my DJ ID if anybody wants to battle me. You know, like anybody want the smoke, like come at me.
All right. So for the next anime, I think I'll go for this one.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. So my next anime is actually a Netflix original. It is a prequel to The Witcher. It is called The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. It follows it. So, like I said, it's a prequel to Geralt's journey, and it follows the main character Vesemir as he, does the shenanigans of a Witcher. And it actually turns out, like, during this time period, the Witchers are booming. Like, there's so many of them, but they're so good at their job that there's almost no monsters left for them to hunt. So they're out here collecting coin in any which way they can, and the common people all see Witchers as like con artists and scammers and stuff like that. But Vesemir, he embodies this to a T, but he's still a man of honor, right? So it turns out that there is a conspiracy run by the Witchers, and the upper echelon of the Witchers are creating the monsters. So, like, they're artificially creating monsters that are harder and harder to kill. Like, they're combining DNA of, like, different creatures. And there's an elf called Kitsune that's mixed with an illusion demon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I forget his name. But she's so strong. She can cast, like, these vast illusions that are super dangerous and deadly. And, like, the characters just struggle against Kitsune, like, the whole time. And it's really good, and then it reveals how it connects to Geralt's story at the end. I'm not going to spoil that for anybody, but the action scenes are very fluid. It's very reminiscent of something like Castlevania. It's very reminiscent of something like the animation wise of something like Yasuke. So all of that just goes to show, like, it has high production value. I didn't think too much of it because, like, I like The Witcher. I don't love it, but I really like the lore, so I didn't really have any expectations going in, and I was very surprised even after having no expectations.
Yeah, and I would say, like, especially now with, like, after Castlevania, the Netflix produced and everything, I have more faith in Netflix's animation studio. So I'm looking forward to personally watching it. Like, I have actual expectations, which is why this video, I couldn't say it for this video.
That's fine.
But I'm very excited to personally watch it because I love their animation style a lot. Because I feel like it's its own unique American animation, which
they do have a studio overseas.
What I mean is it has a unique style to it that makes it feel like more American anime.
Yeah, it's more akin to, like, that would be a cartoon, but I'm not gonna get into the semantics of that, obviously. But yeah, because that's a debate that some people are willing to die for. But
it's not worth it.
What I was about to say is the animation style feels almost reminiscent of the DC animated movies.
Yes, exactly. And I'm actually a fan of that animation style.
Yeah, and those movies are very good. The quality is always good. I never find myself like, that looks ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just feels sharp. That's what it is.
Exactly, and fluid, yeah.
And which I really appreciate, especially with that coming out.
Matter of fact, there's a scene where Vesemir is using, like, this chain pulley system off his hip and a whip, right? And he's like, and he has a sword in his other hand, and he's falling in like through the sky fighting manticores, and then there's a giant manticore. He's using like his hip chain to like throw and catch onto smaller manticores to fly over to the bigger one, and he's like full aerial combat. And I believe that if he does this wrong, he will fall and die the whole time.
Well, yeah. Well, definitely. You're how high in the sky, so like,
Yeah.
good luck.
But yeah, so we can move on to your next one.
Yeah, my next one is an anime that going into it, I thought it was just gonna be like this boring, basic rom-com, but everybody was telling me like, no, it's really good. So I was going into it being like, I guess. And it's called My Next Life is a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. And this anime surpassed anything I was expecting. So the premise essentially is our main character, Katarina, or as the fan base likes to call her, Bakarina, for many reasons, gets reincarnated into an Ultimo game that she played a lot in her previous life.
Okay.
And what you know what an Ultimo game is, right?
Yeah. It's like the dating sim.
Yeah, it's like a dating simulator, except it's the opposite. For like guys, it's a women's version. So like you're a female character trying to
and you're trying to get a bunch of like a harem of men. Yeah.
A harem of men, or going after your like blonde prince or whatever, like, you know. But the twist that they put on this is like a lot of older reincarnation series do, like you reincarnate as the heroine. They have a reincarnate as the villain of the story.
Oh.
So there's a reason it's called All Routes Lead to Doom, and because the character Katarina in the game almost dies in every ending possible for this game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the only good ending is she gets exiled to a faraway kingdom and lives the rest of her life in poverty. That is the good ending for her. And so, lucky for her though, she reincarnates as the kid version of Katarina, so she has 10 years before the actual game starts, where she could try to change her life and try to alter her destiny. And what I really like about it is it's just a lot of hijinks and wholesomeness. She tries to change what the original character did and tries to do the exact opposite. All right, you were mean to your stepbrother? Nah, we're going to treat him with love and affection and make him a good gentleman boy instead of a player when he grows up. I think you more hurt him in the end than helped, but I digress.
What a guy.
But what I really like, though, about the series is that it took it a completely different route from what I expected, it being just like a basic, like, you know, one person falls in love with her kind of deal, or she falls in love with one specific character. It turns into a story of her just trying to enjoy her new life and making friends along the way and having a great time. And it's just so wholesome, though, because the character itself has just such an air of innocence around her that it's charming.
So I have a question. So when she's reincarnated, right?
Yeah.
Is she reincarnated to the main timeline and then the game restarts? Or is she reincarnated after having beat the game so many times that she knows what the endings are for the character she came back as?
Well, she originally died playing the game like in modern Japan, okay?
Okay.
And she reincarnated. This is technically a separate world based off the game. But it's going to follow the exact path because all the same characters and history is based off this game. But it's an alternate world that's not constrained by the game. But if she doesn't do anything, she'll follow that destiny and end up dying. So she has to put in the work in order to avoid it. And it's just funny, though, because it's just like she's trying so hard, obviously, when she's already succeeded by the age of 10 to probably avoid the death flags. Because she's considered such a nice person by the age of 11, while in the game, Katarina was like the worst human being by the age of 11. So she's already done the job, like she's good, but she doesn't think that until like she finally avoids her death flags. And it's just so funny to me as I'm watching, like, no, you're good, chill. And you think that would get old, but it just doesn't. And that's the best part of it.
All right, so sounds like we can move on to the next one. So I got a real doozy for y'all. And Max will attest to this. I have been on this series, like, I've been vocally saying that this show was going to be great from the jump. I really like the character. I always have. But in the back of my mind, I have been apprehensive about this show. I have been scared for this show. And that will be Boruto. Boruto!
I was about to make a joke about Boruto's dad, but in taste, we will not do that.
Well, you already said that you were going to make the joke, so the taste has already been ruined, but you're not going to make the joke anyway, so thanks. But yeah, so Naruto's son Naruto Next Generations is All right, I'll cut it. Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Aside from having a crazy ass name, because that name is really confusing. Because that name implies that it can't stand on its own, which is one of the first things that gave me like a about the show. However, that being said, Boruto is a really good show, and people are like, "Oh, but you have to get through so much filler." A lot of that is not filler. Y'all just don't like slice of life. And you don't like slice of life because of what original Naruto was, right? All of the characters from the new generation are pretty relatable characters. And even our older characters, I like seeing them in their new context. Like Naruto and Sasuke being bad dads, like it makes sense, but they both improve. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, well, this show isn't faithful because why would Naruto and Sasuke be bad dads?" I'm like, I don't know. Sasuke's dad was a terrorist and Naruto's was dead. Like they didn't have
their environment, man.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have the best. And then also you have to remember where they spent their formative years. Naruto spent his formative years away with the pervert, and Sasuke spent his formative years in a dungeon with the pervert. So like,
part of a terrorist organization. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, a terrorist pervert.
Like that makes it any worse.
Yeah, right. But both of these characters grow, and they're good fathers currently in the story. And I think it's cool to see middle-aged men actually doing decent things in an anime for once. I'm kind of sick of the whole, "Oh, unless you're the final boss or you're a boss, and if you're over 20, you're trash." Like, bro.
That's not how the world works, man.
Bro, Iruka was like 28. He was Bonzo, except for the fact that like he was important for like a thematic purpose, not like a power purpose. But anyway, that's besides the point. Boruto. I like Boruto's character because he has a really like his motivation in the beginning is that he hates his dad, but what he really wants is for nothing else than to have his dad active in his life and for his dad to be a good father. And people are like, "Oh, he's so spoiled. His dad protected the village." Yeah, not in his life. He didn't know that.
He thought his dad was weak.
Bro, like, you know how they say, like there's that quote that says, like, we're more than our worst moments, but we're less than our best moments. If that quote's true, then that quote's true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're a sum of all of the parts. And from Boruto's perspective, he's completely validated. One day, his dad was there, constantly doting, a good father, and then the next day he ain't see this man in weeks, months even. Like he went from having all of the time in the world with his dad to having no time with his dad. And like, it's hard to be like a lot of people are like, "Oh, he should just get over it." Bro, he's 11.
Yeah.
He's a kid. Like,
they
I mean,
don't get over it.
Yeah.
They're hormonal, man.
And then the next thing I just wanted to mention about the show is the fact that sometimes, like, one downside I have to say is sometimes the stakes don't feel real because Naruto and Sasuke are so strong. But without a spoiler, more recently, there has been a correction to that issue. And I'm very curious to see where the story goes from here, because this could get really exciting with some stakes actually being implemented. I like that a lot.
No longer Naruto and Sasuke just jumping people and winning the fight.
Yeah, although I do like the fact that they absolutely, like, even though they're the two strongest people, they absolutely just jump people no jutsu. Like,
more effective. Way more effective.
Yeah, 2-on-1.
Now that one fight scene with Momo, whatever his name is, Momoshiki. Yo, that fight scene where they just jumped him.
Yo, but they also
the choreography was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how it goes, but when Naruto and Sasuke jump Jigen, it's also very well choreographed. But we get like completely different results from these two fights. But anyway, before I spoil all of Boruto, we're gonna go ahead and move on to your last one.
But you see, on this last one, I had a tough time deciding because there's one that you recommended to me that I was sitting here like I was never gonna watch it, and then I did one day. And then the other one is a musical anime that I never thought I would actually love. So I'll
What
let
we,
you decide between these two.
so what you can go ahead and do is, well, we've already talked about a musical anime in D4DJ. So I kind of want to give people who like a different genre a shot.
All right, and I know you just want me to talk about it because this is one of your favorite anime of all time.
I wouldn't say that, but in manga there is some contention there that I might.
It is one of your favorite anime-based series of all time. Anyway, it's an anime that Devon, I remember for weeks, would not stop talking about and would not stop trying to convince me to read.
Well, to be fair, for the first like week and a half, I wasn't trying to convince you. I was just telling you how good it was.
Yeah, and then it turned into, no man, you gotta watch it. You gotta read it. Like, it's that good. And then one day, making sure I locked my door before I started watching this anime, like, I turned on an anime called Why Are You Here, Sensei? And it's exactly how it sounds, the title.
So Max, why are you here, Sensei? What's that about, my friend?
It is the most wholesome anime I have ever watched, I'm gonna be honest.
So, surprisingly, like we like to use wholesome in a hyperbolic phrase, but this is an anime with some very risque moments, but wholesome outcomes.
Yeah, essentially the series is based around multiple different relationships between a student and a teacher. Granted, students are 17, so in the Japanese legal system, they're fine.
Yeah, well, most of them are actually like on the verge of 18, on the verge of graduating type of stuff.
So we're in the clear, boys. Japanese legal system can't do anything, except maybe the actual principal might be able to do something. But I digress. Anyway, pretty much we go through multiple different relationships and different kinds of circumstances, I would say, and going through pretty much the shenanigans of each relationship and like their cutesy moments. I will say the manga, though, that compared to the anime hits differently because every chapter has something risque going on in it.
But also, so does every episode. The difference is like for the anime, what they do is they approach it more like an anthology that comes together at the end.
Yeah.
And the pacing is pretty good. It's really quick because I feel like reading it, you read so fast. It's like, okay, cool. But if you were watching it at the pace that they show it, you get burnt out after like 2 episodes. This way, they keep it fast and fresh, fast and fresh, fast and fresh.
I will say I like the first couple the most, probably. Close second's the intimidating student, the one that looks like you could beat up anybody, and the shy teacher.
Okay, so for me, the first couple is really what drew me in, right?
Yeah.
But not the Ice Queen, the other one, the one with the athletic teacher.
Oh yeah.
That one's actually the athletic teacher and the pansy boy. I like them the best, truthfully.
Yeah, but anyway, I digress. This anime just screams wholesomeness every episode because it's not about like the risky scenes or whatever. It's about the like relationship that they build with each other and the realization that they have feelings for each other, which seems very natural. Which I appreciate, because like a lot of other anime is just, oh, I'm in love with you. Why? I picked up a rock for you, or I don't know, like they picked up something for you, or helped save your life. This is just them falling for each other in a nice, simple, paceful way that makes sense.
For example, there's the one couple where it turns out that she's the reason he wanted to become like he decided to stay in school, and he's the reason she decided to become a teacher.
Yeah.
But, like, that was when they were, like, literal toddlers. So, like, they didn't know who it was until much, much later. And it was like, oh, it's her. Oh, it's him. You know? And it's like, oh.
It's like, oh, what's up?
All right.
Which does happen a lot.
Sometimes it does just happen like
that. But
I
will say, some of the situations they get themselves into...
Oh, they're absolutely ridiculous.
They're hilarious. Like, every time, it's just like, oh, like, how? How do you do that?
The pitfall trap.
Yeah.
What?
Why was there a pitfall trap, first of all? Second of all, what are the odds you both fall in it? Third of all, what are the odds you're going to have to... Yeah, word. Yo, why did... The guy's pants falls off at the weirdest times. Like, I'm just like, how? This doesn't even make sense.
And on that note, before we get struck by the algorithm,
I think we're already too late for that, but
I think it's really important to give anime that you think is interesting but could be bad. Like, so if you see something and your knee-jerk reaction is, oh, that could be interesting, but they probably did it poorly, but without giving it a chance, I say maybe take the chance. Watch an episode. What's one episode going to hurt other than 22 minutes out of your day? You know what I mean? Like, there's really nothing lost from that.
yeah, and the biggest thing you might end up discovering, like watching a series, for me, I discovered a whole new branch of romance anime because of, Why Are You Here, Sensei? I hate to say that's where my romance anime itch was birthed, but that's where it started, and it's been a horrible, horrible, horrible spiral ever since.
Yep.
Thanks, Devon.
You're welcome. But see, the thing is, I had been trying to put him on to regular romance anime for the longest, but of course, that's the one he responds to. And now he'll read anything, or watch anything, really. And I think it, like, again, if not for diversifying your taste, it could be really good, you know?
Yeah, you could find something that you might have never even thought of liking. Or like the best part for me is when I find out I like a whole new genre, there's all of a sudden like 50, 60, 70 new anime, like hundreds of new manga that open up to me. And I no longer have like that scarcity that I'm looking for stuff in my specific genres anymore.
Exactly.
Now I have like all these new shows and stuff to keep me entertained for another month before I binge through them all.
And on that note, we've been Baka Burrito. I'm Devon.
I'm Max.
And if you guys like our content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video and comment down below. It helps the algorithm more than you can ever know. And we're really hoping to push to 100 by the end of the year. So go ahead and help us out with that. You have anything to add, Max?
Yeah, specifically comment down below who your favorite relationship is and why are you here, Sensei. I'm really curious to see who your favorite couple is down there, And if you have any like anime you think are flops that other people think that are flops that you personally love, please comment down below. We'll check them out. Maybe we'll do a video about them.
Fairy tale? Fairy tale!
A lot of people like fairy tale. What do you mean?
Have a good one, guys.
Talk to you guys later.